Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It's time to talk about module number 13 already. This week we have 3 lectures, but they're all fairly short lectures. The first one on futurism, the second on data, and both of those are on either side of the very First World War. And then we're going to end with surrealism. Surrealism is cool because it lasts for a tremendously long time. When we think about futurism and data, movements like that last for about 5 years, whereas surrealism is much more concrete and it lasts for about 30 years. This week we have a discussion board on futurism, and we're going to go ahead and go over to the Canvas site. I'll walk you through the journal and everything you need to know for this week. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. Module 13 is this week, only 2 more weeks left of class. So this week, up top, all our usual information, our action plan, a link to my office hours every Wednesday from 3 to 7. Then we have our lectures. The first one on futurism, the study guide, and then the further exploration section has a little introduction to what futurism is. But then there's also the Futurist Manifesto, and this is going to play a part in several things this week. So if you want to read this here, you can. I've also got a video underneath it of someone reading the Futurist Manifesto to you. I do always suggest either reading it twice or listening to it twice. And then another information about futurism here. So those are really important to watch or listen to. But as far as the Futurist Manifesto goes, that's going to be the basis for our journal this week, which is basically just a half page to a full page reflection on the material. So keep in mind that the Futurist Manifesto is kind of out there. It's kind of a little weird, and I wrote down here as well, kind of scary at certain points, because futurism asks for the abolition of, museums and libraries and schools and things like that. So they're pretty out there, but it's a fascinating reading and one of my favorites as well, as the video finally loads. But again, the Futurist Manifesto is essential to read, and again, you can have it read to you. I'm going to just go ahead and jump up right to the discussion. And the discussion also, funny enough, deals with futurism. So this is a futurist painting, and it looks very much like Cubism, which definitely it is. But it also adds that dynamic motion or dynamism to this work as well. So you can kind of see how like the smoke is coming up out of the chimney. So take a look at this painting and also make sure you've read the Futurist Manifesto. The official name is the Founding and Manifesto of Futurism. It's the very first time artists actually write down before they begin creating any art what their goals are for futurism. So it's the first time this happens. You're going to see it in data, you're going to see it in surrealism, and so on. But futurists were the first to write down their ideas. The title of the work above, Visual Synthesis of the Idea, War, painted by Gino Severini in 1914. What you want to do, first off, come up with as many observations as you can about the painting. What objects or symbols do you see here? Literally, I see an anchor. I see smoke coming out of a chimney, and so on. Answer the question, what does the title of the work mean? Again, here's the title. For question 3, why do you think the artist left out human presence in this painting? No humans in this painting. And finally, the 4th thing you need to do, respond to another group member's post. 8 points for everything, except 6 points on the response. You need to make the initial post by the 4th of May, and then you have 1 more week to complete the response. And that is the project for this week. Don't forget, if you haven't left a response back where we did the Picasso drawing, that needs to be done this week as well. We have a lecture on data, we have a study guide, and then we have further exploration. which is just the Dada Manifesto. I did make it optional because while the Futurist Manifesto is fascinating and fun and strange and all of that, the Dada Manifesto is awful. It is as exciting as unbuttered toast. That is how boring it is. And at the very end, I don't even want to tell you what happens at the very end. But it's a shorter reading. If you want to try it, you can. It is probably my least favorite, but it's there for you. What is essential is Duchamp's Fountain. This you need to watch and be familiar with this artwork, which is a urinal on its side. Needless to say, that is what Dada is. Surrealism is a lecture not by me, and it's I found it online a couple of years ago. It's a fascinating lecture by another instructor, so I stole it. Study guide, and for the further exploration here, you just have one video, The Persistence of Memory, that famous painting by Dali of the melting clocks. And that is everything for this week. It's not too bad. We have one more week together. I'm hoping to get that module open early because that does have a film and that will take some time. Other than that, we're nearing the end of the semester, 2 more weeks. So if you have any questions, please drop me an email or visit my office hours on Wednesday. I will see you shortly to talk about Module 14.